Hey guys, it's Jerry, and welcome to another Zonealarm video. This time around, I'm going to test. It's an antivirus. It's a full suite. It's not something that's new or anything like that, but I have it actually set up on one of my virtual machines that I've been testing for some time. And if you're like me and you like a full-featured security suite that has a lot of bells and whistles, well, Zonealarm is definitely something for you. They have reduced their prices, hopefully due to the fact that they're coming out with a newer version shortly. But from what I've read, Checkpoint is not one that pre-releases beta information or when new releases are going to be coming out. They don't give specific dates. That they basically come out with new versions or with updates to the program as it becomes available, and they just kind of send it out to the masses. So not sure when the new version is going to come out, but I figured, because it's such a feature-rich security suite, I would take a look at it anyway and show you guys Zonealarm. The other thing I wanted to do, and this is kind of new to me, that I'm going to start doing on videos, is show you guys some comments that I get either through my inbox or through my channel. This one came from Mr. Exodus, and I wanted to thank him for sending me a suggestion to run my virtual machine in a classic theme. On my last video, I was having problems with the virtual machine just slowing down. I couldn't get the internet to work correctly. So, he noticed that, and as with any YouTube viewer or somebody that has their own channel that does their own videos, I found that a lot of you guys out there are always willing to send suggestions or feedback, which I really appreciate. So I wanted to kind of point out or to kind of show you guys some of these comments that I get. One being from Mr. Exodus, and I took his advice and I switched everything to classic mode and shut off all of the error effects and everything else. So just wanted to send out a thank you to you, Mr. Exodus, and hope you keep your suggestions and your comments coming, because as you can tell, I really take them seriously, and I take your comments and I learn from them, and I do utilize some of the feedback and suggestions that you guys send to me. All right, so we're going to take a look at Zonealarm again. Very feature rich. This advanced download protection that they have on their website is really cool. I mean, it basically replaces your standard Windows download box. And what it does is it replaces it with their own version. And anytime you download something, that file essentially gets sent to their database. As you're downloading it, they do like a live kind of test of the file, and if they see that it's malicious, they'll come back and tell you, hey, this is malicious, what do you want to do? So I think that's a really cool feature that I've only seen with Zonealarm. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that Zonealarm uses Kaspersky's signature database and some of their information, if you will. So right there, that tells you that Zonealarm has pretty good coverage or pretty good protection because they use Kaspersky's virus engines and what have you. So again, as you can see here from their site, it has virtual browsing, it has your antivirus, spyware, scan engine, your private browsing, which basically erases your surfing tracks when you exit Internet Explorer, and it essentially allows you to surf in privacy, so nobody can trace where you've been, or if you enter information into the net, it kind of erases those tracks or traces to secure your privacy. They do have online backup. They have PC tune-up. They have parental controls. They have a two-way firewall and anti-spam keylogger and screen grabber jamming, which is pretty cool. So again, pretty feature-rich. And if we take a look at their installer, I haven't looked at it yet, haven't really done anything with it. I don't remember when I loaded it onto the other machine what it looked like, but it is 145 megs, and understandable because it's got a lot of bells and whistles. It's a pretty large download. So I'm going to go ahead and install it. And again, I'll pause the video as always, and if I see anything out of the ordinary, I will come back and show you. Otherwise, I'll come back when it's installed. So I'll see you in a sec. Hey guys, I'm back. As you can see, as part of the install process, Zonealarm does an initial scan. I think what this does is it scans for incompatible software and also any issues that you might have with the system. So doesn't look like it found anything. Alright, so it's asking me to restart. I'll do that, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. So I'm just configuring the network here. It asks what kind of network that I have. If it's public, if it's private. Obviously, it's a home computer. And this is what the interface looks like. You have your firewall, antivirus and anti-spyware, your anti-phishing, and then your browser security. So what we're going to do is take a look at all of the features here. You have your overview, you have your product information. If you click on it, it gives you all the specifics. That you're on a 30-day trial, and preferences, which is your settings. You can check for product updates automatically. You can lock it down with a password. You can back up your settings or restore. Load Zonealarm Extreme Security at startup. Obviously, you want to do that. And whenever I request info from Zonealarm, you can alert with a pop-up. Hide my IP address when applicable, and hide the last octet of my IP address, whatever that is. Don't know. But anyway, so these are some basic settings. Then you have your firewall, which is set to high. Your trusted zone security, which is on medium, which would I would assume is kind of like an optimal setting. And then you have your blocked zone. Assign malicious networks to this zone where all communication is blocked. So you can kind of set that up if applicable. So you have your zones here, which are trusted. And then you have more expert settings or rules. Program control. You have your auto learn, which is set to auto. You have your smart defense advisor, which is set to auto, and your lock is off. You have your programs settings. It gives you a list of all the programs that are on your system, and basically what the trust level is. Whether it have a full trusted status across the board, or if they're unsure of the program. So basically, it just gives a list, which is very cool, of all of the programs and what their status is or what they have rights to on the computer based on the settings that you choose for Zonealarm. Here you have a list of components. Nothing there. Okay. So your antivirus and anti-spyware is on. You can scan. You can update. I'll check to see if there's any updates. And then you have advanced options. So more settings. You can schedule scans for whatever days that you want. You could do it on a monthly basis or daily, weekly. I'd probably recommend weekly, somewhere in the middle. Um, you can configure your scan targets if you want to scan something specific. Your scan mode, which is set to super scan, so it's kind of like a deep scan, but it scans all files, all folders, and archives. Plus, it does a rootkit scan. I think that's a little too overboard. What I would do is a deep scan. So you scan all files, folders, and do a rootkit scan. That's kind of like the optimal settings. On-axis scanning, enable on-axis scanning, which is recommended. Scan when reading and writing recommended. So that's kind of set to optimal settings. Says here, when a virus is found, try to repair it, quarantine it if, no, we don't want to clean now. Try to quarantine it if the repair fails, which is good. You have your scan options, which is pretty much all pre-configured for you, and then any exceptions. So that's pretty straightforward. It also has your list of quarantines. For some reason, it's not updating. That's weird. All right, so let's see. You have your parental controls. You can put it on as it applies to you if you have kids that are younger and on the net a lot. Here what's pretty cool is you have categories that you can enable or disable. So by default, any hacking or proxy avoidance systems, pay to surf sites, any violence or hate or racism, any weapons, gambling, drugs, criminal skills, alcohol, adult nudity, pornography, sex education. I mean, all different kinds of categories. You can block whatever you want. You have your browser security, which is on. You have your anti-phishing. You have your browser security, which is your proactive. I think this is like your sandbox or your virtual browsing. So lots of different options here, different features. So like I said before, it's pretty jam-packed with options. You can enable identity protection, alerts and logs. So basically, gives you a lot of alerts of what's going on in the background with firewall traffic and what have you. So basically, I mean, you know, you have all of your different settings here. I mean, it's pretty easy to navigate, although it is pretty feature intensive and there's a lot of different options. Let's see. For some reason, I can't get it to update. I'm not sure what. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. As you can see here, I just had a look at something real quick. The browser security, the private browser, and what have you. When you download your Zonealarm, what you need to do is click on Settings under Browser Security, and then come over to Advanced and check Enable Virtualization. And when you do that, you get this bar up top here that tells you that the private browser is active and nothing from this session will be recorded. So that's kind of like your private browsing. The other thing is you can come here and you can clear your virtual data. So anything that you download, anything that you do, you can basically hit that button and everything will get deleted off the system. Right here, real quick, very light on resources, memory, and CPU. So looks pretty good. Everything's updated now. So on the next video, we'll do a prevention test. So I'll be back for that. Thanks for watching, guys.